doing a vintage wave look that is derived from the 30s and 40s. Think Veronica Lake, Jean Harlow, or Rita Hayworth. A little bit more of the finger wave kind of look, and not more of like the softer, bigger wave from the 40s and 50s. Okay, to start off this look, I'm going to go in with parting. This is our gorgeous model, Michelle, and what I'm going to do is start off with the main partings, which I'm going to do 4 partings. I'm going to take 2 in the front, and then 1 through the back. So what I'm going to do is kind of divide the hair right at where behind the ear hits. And then through the front, what is so definitive about this style is the side part, the deep side part. And so what we're looking for is kind of that dramatic kind of side movement. And what I look for usually for where I start my side part is the middle of the eyebrow or the arch of the eyebrow. That usually gives you a good reference point. So what I'll do is kind of find where that midpoint is, take it back, and that's where I'll kind of go with my parting. So after we have that parting, what I'm going to do is just put the hair into sections, and then we are ready to curl. Okay, so what I do from here is I'm working with the 4 partings that we worked with initially. As I take each 1-inch parting, I'm going to give each strand just a little bit of a spray, which is a lightweight working spray. Then I'm going to go in with my 3/4 inch iron. You can use a 3/4 inch or you can use a 1 inch depending on the strength of the wave pattern that you want. I'm going with 3/4 just because I feel like I get a little bit stronger wave pattern. And as you guys see, I'm slowly feeding the hair through mid-strand. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take the hair from the mid-strand, and I'm just going to softly feed the rest of the ends through the iron and pull it up to the root. The reason why I do this is to save the ends of the hair and to create a more even wave pattern. You want to continue taking your sub-partings in the back. Just make sure that they're 1-inch partings. You want to get a strong wave pattern, so you want to take neat partings to make sure that everything's going to blend well. Okay, so now I've gone through the bottom, and what I've done is just 1-inch sections all the way up the back. What I'm doing is vertical sections, just like this. So I'm taking my iron vertical, mid-shaft, the iron through. I'm using a Marcel iron, but you can also use a spring-loaded iron or any other kind of type of iron. Just kind of drop everything and just let it set. Now if you have a little bit more resistant hair, sometimes you're going to want to pin the curls. Most of the time I feel like if you have the right kind of prepping and the right kind of product in there, you should be okay with just letting them set, because we're going to want the curls to drop a little bit more anyhow and get a little bit softer of a wave pattern than what we have going on right here. Alright, so once again we're taking the hair from mid-strand and we're just going to slowly put the hair through the iron. Once again, you guys can do this with a spring-loaded iron. We're just going to let it set and then let it drop. And don't worry about the pattern at this point, and don't worry if it's a little ringlety. We'll be able to kind of brush it out and shape it eventually. So I'm just going to take one other 1-inch section. And the rest of the section again. Just give this section a little bit of spray, just a little bit of hold. Take that again, mid-strand, and then just keep pushing the hair through the base of the hair. This is really going to save the ends of the hair and give you a really nice, even wave pattern. So I'm going to take this last section to the top, what I'm going to do is just slightly comb it a little bit off base, a little bit backwards. And then we're going to take our big strand away from the face. And we'll just slowly pull that through the feed of the iron. And then I'm just going to let that drop to the side and cool for now. So now that we have the heavier side done, what we want to do on this side is do something that's a little bit closer to going towards the face. Whereas on this side with the iron, we were going kind of away from the face. This is going to be your classic finger wave style. Usually from this part on the less heavier side, you kind of want the curl going towards the face, whereas on the other side you want it going away from the face. Usually what we'll do is do the 1-inch partings like we did on the other side. But instead of going towards the face, we want to go, or instead of going away from the face, we want to go towards the face. Once again, going mid-strand through the ends, and getting that soft wave pattern. I like to take 1-inch partings while doing this kind of style. That way I get a lot stronger of a wave pattern than I would if I was taking bigger partings. So we're getting to this last front piece right here, and what we're going to do is just kind of pull this right out. Once again, it is a 1-inch parting. We wanted to break it out just from this section out here. We're going to pull it mid-strand, and then I'm going to slowly roll the curling iron, pulling the ends through, and then roll it back up to the red. We're just going to let that drop and let it cool. So now I'm kind of just pulling the waves through, still combing, and as you get through the front, you can kind of, this is where you can kind of get creative. You can kind of, figure out how you want the wave pattern to set. You can kind of see how it's naturally setting in your hair. Every hair texture is going to be different, and every hair texture is going to have its own wave pattern, even though we set it in a uniform level. What I'm doing now is just putting a working spray through. I'm just making sure that there's a little bit of fold. I'm kind of pulling the front back, giving it a little bit more drama, a little bit more of that, old Hollywood kind of parting, giving it just that definitive curl. Alright, this is the look. 30s, 40s, vintage and style inspired waves, a la Veronica Lake, Rita Hayworth. Epitomize this glamour. What do you think, Michelle?
I love it.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you.